while Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi were waging wars of unification in central and western Japan. Fierce battles for dominance were also unfolding in the Tohoku, the northernmost region of the Honshu Island. Among the warlords fighting there, one stands out, not just for his military brilliance, but for the eye he lost and the empire he built. This is the story of Date Masamune, the one-eyed dragon of the north. Konnichiwa. Welcome to another journey into the history of Japan. Today, we look at the life of Date Masamune, who laid the foundation of prosperity of Sendai and Tohoku region. Before diving into Masamune's life, let's take a look at the history of the Date clan. The Date clan was founded by Date Tomomune, a samurai who served Minamoto no Yoritomo, the first shogun of the Kamakura shogunate, back in the late 12th century. Tomomune was granted a territory in Tohoku region by Yoritomo as a reward for his participation in the Battle of Oshu. 3 centuries later, Tanemune, the 14th head of the Date clan, successfully expanded his rule over the Tohoku region through strategic marriages with neighboring daimyo. Tanemune, originally a humble kokujin or local landlord, even obtained the prestigious title of Shugo, or military governor of Mutsu province from the Ashikaga shogunate, which meant that Tanemune became the administrator of the entire region, at least on paper. But Tanemune suffered a major setback in his final years. A conflict arose with his eldest son, Harumune, over the diplomatic policies with neighboring daimyo. What started as a father-son dispute escalated into a full-blown battle known as the Tenbun War, involving the warlords across the region divided into opposing factions. The 6-year war finally ended when the father surrendered to his son. The victorious Harumune became the clan's 15th head. However, as a result of the war, the Date clan lost much of its control over the region, and instead, neighboring clans such as the Ashina, Soma, and Mogami grew to become powerful Sengoku daimyo that came to rival the Date. Now let's delve into the remarkable life of Date Masamune. Date Masamune was born in 1567 in Yonezawa, in the modern-day Yamagata prefecture, as the eldest son of Date Terumune and the grandson of Date Harumune, the victor of the Tenbun War. His childhood name was Bonten Maru, named after the Buddhist deity of Bonten, the protector of Buddhist law. Fate struck early. At the age of 5, Bonten Maru contracted smallpox, leaving him blind in his right eye. Some say he gouged it out himself to avoid being seen as weak. Whether myth or truth, the act became symbolic of his ruthless resolve. At the age of 11, Bonten Maru celebrated his Genpuku, or the coming of age ceremony. This is when he changed his name to Masamune. At the age of 13, Masamune was married to Megohime, who was 12 years old, in a typical strategic marriage of the Sengoku Japan to forge an alliance between the families of daimyo. At the age of 15, Masamune experienced his first battle, helping his father fight the Soma clan. And at the age of 18, he succeeded the command of the family from his father to become the 17th head of the Date clan. Masamune's ancestors expanded their territories chiefly through shrewd political maneuvering and strategic marriages. Masamune, however, chose a different path: expansion through force. He waged wars against the neighboring daimyo one after another. In 1585, Masamune laid a siege to Odemori Castle, held by Ouchi Sadatsuna, a former retainer of the Date clan, who defected to the Ashina clan Date's rival in the Aizu region. The siege was part of a broader campaign to punish defectors and assert dominance over the region. While detailed tactical records are scarce, the siege is remembered for its brutality and symbolic weight. He reportedly ordered the slaughter of over 800 people, including women and children, after capturing the castle. The siege of Odemori is a microcosmos of Masamune's leadership style. Decisive, theatrical, and unforgiving. And it marked the beginning of his transformation from a regional warlord into the feared one-eyed dragon of the north. However, the aftermath of the battle manifested in an unexpected way. Hatakeyama Yoshitsugu, an ally of Ouchi Sadatsuna, kidnapped Terumune, Masamune's father, and used him as a human shield in order to secure favorable surrender terms from Masamune. Masamune, encountered with Yoshitsugu and his abducted father, made a ruthless decision. He ordered his retainers to shoot and kill Yoshitsugu, even if it meant also the death of his father. Terumune died at the age of 42. The following month, Masamune attacked the Hatakeyama clan at Hitotoribashi to avenge his father's death. But things took a harsh turn for Masamune. The neighboring daimyo, such as Soma, Satake, Ashina, and Nikaido, formed an anti-Date alliance to aid the Hatakeyama clan because they saw Masamune as a serious threat. While the allied forces had 30,000 troops, Masamune only had 7,000. The two armies clashed in a fierce battle. Masamune's forces struggled. Masamune himself was struck by bullets and arrows on his armor. However, Masamune escaped the crisis in an unexpected manner. The allied anti-Date forces disintegrated when the Satake, the cornerstone of the alliance, suddenly withdrew from the battle to cope with the dispute that erupted in their home domain in Hitachi province. Although the battle ended without a clear victor, Masamune's reputation spread as he held out against an enemy that outnumbered him several times over. 4 years later, they clashed again. Taking advantage of the dispute that erupted in the Ashina clan, Masamune decided to launch an attack on them. Masamune cleverly lured Ashina Yoshihiro, the head of the Ashina clan, out of their stronghold at Kurokawa Castle to Suriagehara, a field located at the foot of the Mount Bandai. In the opening battle, the outnumbered Ashina forces fought with desperate fury and pushed back the vanguard of the Date army. But then the weather saved Masamune. Suddenly, a fierce westerly wind blew from Mount Bandai, hitting the officers and soldiers of the Ashina army directly in the face. The swirling dust blinded them and made it difficult for the troops to regroup. Masamune seized this fleeting opportunity. Now charge! At Masamune's command, the Date army gained momentum and launched a counterattack. Instantly, the Ashina army collapsed. The battle had now turned into a one-sided decimation. Ashina Yoshihiro, with only a few retainers, barely escaped the battlefield with his life. This effectively marked the end of the renowned Ashina clan as Sengoku daimyo. Following the victory, the Date clan came to control the entire southern Tohoku region, making them the most powerful daimyo in northern Japan. However, Masamune found himself confronted by an even stronger daimyo, Toyotomi Hideyoshi. By the time Masamune claimed victory in Suriagehara, Hideyoshi already had conquered western Japan. His next target was Kanto region, controlled by the Hojo clan based in Odawara Castle. Hideyoshi ordered Masamune to join his campaign against the Hojo. Masamune faced a difficult choice: to submit to Hideyoshi or to rise in rebellion. Hideyoshi had already become the most powerful daimyo in the country, and even for Masamune, he was a formidable adversary. On the other hand, the Date clan was allied with the Hojo, and if they joined forces to challenge Hideyoshi, there might still be a chance for victory. And he made a decision. He chose to submit to Hideyoshi. Masamune went to Odawara to join Hideyoshi's campaign against the Hojo, but he arrived late for the deadline that Hideyoshi had set. Anticipating Hideyoshi's rebuke, Masamune devised a plan. In order to express his remorse, he appeared before Hideyoshi wearing the white ceremonial robes that the samurai wore when committing seppuku. Hideyoshi, stunned by Masamune's eccentric appearance, didn't execute Masamune, but confiscated from him the territory that he had captured following the victory at Suriyagehara. Masamune must have felt bitter, but he continued to serve Hideyoshi in his national unification wars and expeditions to Korea. Following Hideyoshi's death in 1598, he chose to align himself with Tokugawa Ieyasu, who would later come into conflict with the Toyotomi clan. When the Battle of Sekigahara erupted in 1600, he fought in the Dewa province in the north as part of the Eastern Army, which was led by Ieyasu. He also served Ieyasu in the siege of Osaka, which led to the downfall of the Toyotomi clan in 1615. Ieyasu established national hegemony, bringing an end to the Sengoku or the Warring States period. In the end, Masamune couldn't restore the former territory confiscated by Hideyoshi. However, from his new base in Aobajo Castle, he turned his attention to developing his new domain, the Sendai domain, which encompassed modern-day Miyagi Prefecture and the southern part of Iwate Prefecture. Masamune's legacy in the development of Sendai is nothing short of visionary. Masamune prioritized agricultural development to stabilize and to enrich his domain, and implemented large-scale land surveys and irrigation projects, transforming previously uncultivated land into productive rice paddies. Recognizing the importance of maritime trade, Masamune ordered the development of Ishinomaki port in the 1620s. He created new channels to facilitate rice shipping, turning Ishinomaki into a key gateway for trade and industry in the Tohoku region, linking Sendai to broader domestic and international markets. Masamune infused his domain with spiritual and aesthetic grandeur by commissioning sacred sites that still stand today. Among them are Osaki Hachimangu, the guardian shrine of Sendai and the Date family, exemplifies extravagant Momoyama-style architecture, and Zuiganji, a Buddhist temple founded in 9th century, which was rebuilt by Masamune to become one of the most famous Zen temples in the Tohoku region, and known for its beautifully gilded and painted sliding doors. And what's extraordinary for a Japanese daimyo is that Masamune sought to establish diplomatic relations with European nations. In 1613, he dispatched his retainer Hasekura Tsunenaga on a diplomatic mission to Spain and the Vatican, marking the first official Japanese embassy to Europe. The delegation was well received in Europe and met with Pope Paul V in Rome and King Philip III in Madrid. Ironically, however, while the mission was underway, the Tokugawa shogunate began cracking down on Christianity, which resulted in Tsunenaga's diplomatic negotiation in failure. Yet it marked Japan's boldest attempt at international diplomacy before the national isolation imposed by the Tokugawa shogunate. Masamune closed his turbulent life in 1636 at the age of 70, leaving behind a waka poem. With the clear moon of my heart as my guide, I walk forward, illuminating the darkness of this fleeting world. Date Masamune's life was a blend of brutality and brilliance. He lost an eye, but gained a vision and became a legend. The city of Sendai, founded by Masamune, is affectionately called the Forest Capital and has grown to become the political, economic, and cultural center of the Tohoku region. Masamune's legacy still pulses through the region. The one-eyed dragon lives on. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the life of the one-eyed dragon fascinating, please like, subscribe, and share. ありがとうございました。さよなら。